You can get hated for playing anyone in Brawlhalla. Have an axe? You can't space. Hammer? Meta slave. Lance? Boosted. Gauntlets? Why? Lormen recently uploaded a video on this kind of mentality that the Brawlhalla community seems to have as a part of a little rant competition my friends and I are doing. I'll put the links to Lormen's and the other guys' videos when they finish, including Mega Gamer, Sevolin, Derpoopy, and jmed. But regardless of that, the mentality I'm speaking of is the mob mentality. There's so much gathered hatred for certain legends or weapons because many players don't really voice their opinions very much. Those with similar opinions gather together, and the rest of them just listen to the crowd or follow suit, because when you speak out, most of the time, everyone just takes a huge dump on your face. I remember when Sandstorm came out of nowhere and started killing everybody, there were many new Mordex players. And to this day, he remains the number one, actually, no, not number one anymore, but it's Petra because of the battle pass. But he's up there, right? And I also remember when Boomy won a tournament with Isaiah. There were a bunch of people who came up to me after that, and they were like, oh, see, Isaiah isn't bad because Boomy won a tournament with him. Listen here, maggot. If you haven't realized already, Brawlhalla is a very balanced game in comparison to many other fighting games, or just games in general with different characters because of how the weapon combinations work. The only things that really make characters different are their stats and their signatures. Back when I said Isaiah was bad, like all those times in those old videos, I meant in the context of Brawlhalla. Bad meaning you can probably still find success with the legend, it's just that it's very difficult compared to better legends with better sigs or stats or weapon combinations. Like, and this doesn't even matter until you reach like diamond, and diamond's not even that good. Like low diamond versus high diamond is so big. The difference in skill is huge. So this literally doesn't even matter to half the players playing. Not even half, like 99% of the people playing this game. It literally won't matter. Yet seeing a pro player accomplish something unexpected somehow voids all of this. And honestly, yeah, okay, I was surprised too, but like when he won with Isaiah, I was like, oh cool, he won with Isaiah. That's great. But reasoning that Isaiah is now suddenly good just because Boomy won with him does not make any logical sense. They did not buff him, they did not change him. It's simply that Boomy won a tournament. I actually believe I made a mistake when I did the Imagine Needing Lance to Win video. Because if you didn't realize it already, it was meant to satirize the fact that players use it as an excuse to losing. When these kinds of guys lose, they scramble for excuses and say like, oh, this guy has Lance, so yeah, this match doesn't count. Gamer, you're banned. Me satirizing this joke inadvertently caused people to use this as an actual excuse for losing. At the end of the day, you lost, okay? It doesn't really matter how you lost or how the other guy won, because at the end of the day, you lost. And this is actually why I have so much respect for players like Caspian or Wesley and Stingray, alright? Players who use Lance at the highest level and not succumb to the hatred that surrounds that weapon. And it's not just the weapon that's being hated on, the players are being hated on as well. Like, let's be honest here, okay? Lance is annoying to fight because of how much priority it has. But what I'm saying here is that the pro players aren't to be blamed. I haven't seen any pro players yell at other players because of how they play. Much. I haven't seen that much. It's mostly the community. The community has constantly hated not just the weapon, but the people actually playing the actual weapon. And that's just not fair. You may have seen this image before. Okay, I took this snip during a tournament, not sure which one, but Caspian had just lost to someone in a set. This was streamed on Twitch. And everybody's essentially telling him off. And of course, this is probably just one example of the many in which you've probably experienced by now. Like, post-game chat has always been notorious for this hate. And I think it's very unfair to discredit a player's ability and rather give it to the weapon they play. It's for sure easier to climb, elo with specific weapons in ranked because lower elo players don't know how to beat them. But especially at the highest level, right? Caspian, Wesley, and Stingray, they definitely deserve some respect for how far they've come. And of course, I'm sure players in lower elo have pulled some 0 to deaths on Lance or Axe or some sick read or whatever weapon everyone hates, like Scythe, Gauntlets. But of course, nobody cares, right? Because you're playing Lance or you're playing Axe or you're just wall hogging and gimping people with Hammer or Gauntlet, spamming signatures, helicopters, sword, and light spam. Everyone's skill and ability is just reduced to nothing because of this stupid mentality that if your playstyle or choice of character or weapon is annoying in any way, you're garbage and you're using it as a crutch. Oh, I need some water. You can honestly get hated for playing anyone at this point. I've seen people hate Nyx And Nyx, I think, is actually one of the most balanced legends in the game. Every signature has strengths and weaknesses, as do her weapon combination. None of her sigs come out very fast, but they all have good force and purpose. But constantly, over and over, I hear people saying that Nyx is annoying because of sig spamming. I don't know why I see these. It makes zero sense to me. How do you spam these sigs and get away with it? They're pretty damn slow. If you're losing to a sig spamming Nyx and you're complaining that she's broken and that the enemy player should suck your toes, then you're bad. You're doo-doo. Utter garbongo. Go back to the landfill in which you came, because you have no right to complain with that level of skill, which is probably non-existent. And I think maybe I can come across as a bit hypocritical here, okay? Because I'm sure no one has been able to play this game without complaining at least once in their lifetime. I've always complained about Axe, and in more recent times, Orb has been large on my radar of things to hate. But what I'm trying to get at here is that I'm not discrediting any players for how or what they play. I just get angry, and I'm just like, wow, this sucks. I hate this weapon. And that's it. And if you also haven't noticed, although most of my rants on weapons and such are largely exaggerated, I don't believe I have ever said that any specific player or group of players have no skill, or they have any less skill because they play that weapon, or they are garbage human beings or whatever because they play passive. If I've ever said that, I'm pretty sure I would have made it obvious that it was a joke. But it's clear to me that a lot of players are not joking when they say that they hate this player for playing blank. I'm sure a lot of players are not joking when they say Lance is broken, or Axe is broken, or Scythe is broken. It's unbelievable to me that this happens, that people go after the players instead of, you know, the actual characters. Like, I mean, they do, but they go after both of them. And that's not okay. I'm going to go a bit farther with this topic and go into specifics about two legends in particular that you may know very well. Scarlet, okay? Why do people hate her? And when I say hate her from now on, remember that not only are players hating the legend, but they're hating the people that play them too. And I, of course, am included in this group. Of course, I know a lot of people do it as a joke, alright? But it's becoming so overdone that I now question whether some people are joking or people actually dislike me because I play Scarlet. So for this part of my little rant here, please pause the video if you hate Scarlet. Okay, if you hate Scarlet, please pause the video here and comment below why you hate Scarlet. And now that you've done that, or you haven't, then here's why I told you to do that. If I had gone on and talked about Scarlet, you could have used my arguments in your argument, and I don't want to give you any ideas. I want this to be all you, okay? Alright, just write whatever you want, and if you can't, then boo-hoo. You hate Scarlet, probably because other people hate Scarlet. But if you did put something down there, alright, or you don't hate Scarlet, then let's continue. If you hate Scarlet because she's played a lot, then I understand, alright? Because, yeah, she has played quite a lot. She's, top 8 right now, but she's one of the more balanced Lance legends in my opinion. That's a true opinion of mine, alright? It's not a joke, especially after the nerfs to Hammer and Lance and Scarlet herself. She is in a more balanced state than ever, and I think she's in a good spot. She has a ton of power and force, but she's also very slow, which is an archetype that I really enjoy in games like this. I love heavy hitting, slow stuff. Her signatures have slow startup. They have a lot of end lag. I think the only two exceptions are probably Hammer neutral sig and down sig, where the neutral sig has a hitbox that can't hit stacked anymore, so it's a lot harder to hit now. And the down sig, I think that's the only sig that I can consider to not have that many weaknesses. It's pretty fast. The range is, it's decent. But it's the strongest move in the game. It has such good force. I think if that move was nerfed, Scarlet I wouldn't really play her. She would not be that as fun. It is also a known fact that the majority of Brawlhalla players are silver and gold. And guess what silver and golds lose to? Sig spam. Wow. And guess who sigs can't be spammed well because they're slow? That's right, Isaiah. And that's not the worst of it, alright? The other champion, Caspian. Or not champion, legend. This is not League of Legends, which for some reason is champions. We've seen one of my recent announcements, and you may have heard me say that I'm dropping Scarlet for Caspian. And of course, no, I'm not dropping Scarlet, but Caspian is looking like a very nice secondary pick for 1s and 2s because he's so fun, but he's bad, okay? Bottom line, Caspian is probably one of the worst legends in the game. I don't care what you think, alters. We all know it, all right? Actually, after the gauntlets buffs, maybe he's a bit better. But still, here's the long and short of it. He has 2 weapons that are close range, so they struggle to get in, and they have little to no kill confirm. So Caspian just builds damage and then he just can't kill them, all right? Plus, his signatures aren't even that good either. I'd say his 2 side sigs are the only actual good ones, with this Gauntlet one being my favorite because I love slide chargeable reverse signatures. But the rest of them are either too weak, too slow, or would only hit once every 10 games. I love Caspian, all right, because he has a rush down playstyle. I love his top hat too, because, you know, that's my favorite type of hat, but he's bad. And I still have people asking why. Or, ew, Caspian. It doesn't make any sense to me that, like, that people can hate. He's... Please, is there any legend I can play without having someone have something to say about it? It's crazy. But anyways, regardless of these 2 specifics, stop discrediting player skill just because they play annoying or play an annoying weapon, all right? And if you're losing to 6 spammers that are obviously bad at the game, how about you get good at the game and beat them instead of complaining perpetually? Now, this is a bit different from other rants I usually do. It's not as filled with jokes as some other ones, but in this style, I get to actually talk about things in a more serious manner so that more people will listen closely. So let me know what you think about this, I guess, new style, whether you like it or not, or any changes you want me to do, and I'll be happy to adapt. And peace.